Welcome back to Creating Stuff with Jim. I'm Jim. It's time to create something. In this episode, I'm going to show you on how you can import a picture into Fusion 360 and how that can help you design your parts. So let's get into it. Well, as you can see behind me, this is our project truck Inferno. And in this episode, what I need to make is I need to make a frame reinforcement plate that goes on the side of this frame rail. Now, I plan to draw it up on CAD and cut it out on my plasma table, but what the difficult part is the very irregular shape. There's many angles and different shapes to what I want to make. So if I was using a tape measure or a set of calipers, this would actually be pretty difficult to draw up on CAD. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to take a picture, import it into CAD, and I will actually scale the picture and then draw my design on top of the picture of this frame rail. So that will make it a lot easier what we're going to do. So now, before I set up and take a picture, is a couple things that you try to avoid or to do is, number one, when you take the picture, you cannot use a wide angle lens. You need to, because if you can think about it, if you use a wide angle lens and you're really close, is the your perspective point between this hole and this hole is going to be very narrow and is not going to be accurate. So you do not use a wide angle lens and try to stand a couple of feet back. No matter how small it is, you can zoom in Fusion 360 when you scale it to get the proper size. But generally, if you get a little bit farther away, you can get more accurate. Measurements. And also, the other side, when you're designing off of a picture, it's not as accurate as using a caliper or a tape measure. So, like I said, this part doesn't have to be precise down to 1/10 of an inch or anything like that. We have a lot of fudge room with this, so this is actually the ideal time to do this. So let me get set up, take the picture, and we're going to get into it. All right, I'm getting ready to take the picture, and you're going to notice that I prop a tape measure up against the workpiece. I have that flat against the workpiece, and I'm going to use that so I can scale the picture once I get into Fusion 360. So we're actually going to come back a couple of feet. And I'm not using anything special. I'm just using my cell phone to take this picture. So, but the one thing you want to make sure of, like I said, being a couple of feet away, which I am, is keep the camera level. And like I said, you can always correct it, but if you have a nice level picture, when you take it, makes life a little easier. So a couple of feet back. Make sure the camera is nice and level. And then take the picture. So, all right, now that we got that done, now we're going to go jump on the computer and we're going to show you where the magic happens. All right, now that we're going to start the computer side of things, I'm not working on my desktop today. I'm actually working on my laptop, and that is the beauty part about CAD is meaning I'm out and about. I'm not at home. I'm not at the shop. So, like I said, I'm just out and about, and you can do this stuff anywhere. So now to work with a picture in CAD, first and foremost, you're going to see right here on my desktop, I just keep a folder which keeps all the photos I use in CAD in one spot so it's easy to find. So the first step is to open Fusion 360. Then we're going to come up here to where we start. And I'm just going to go ahead and set the axis to the XY axis so you're looking down from the top. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to the top. And we're going to click Insert. We're going to come down to Canvas. Click Canvas, and then we're going to insert from Computer. Now, and then these are all the files I currently have in here. And this is the picture that I want to use. to do the driver's side of Inferno. So we're going to just click that, click open. Now it wants you to select the plane that you place the picture on, and I want to place it on the XY axis, which I'm currently looking on. So I'm going to click right here on the XY axis, and it's going to import it. Now in this is what you call editing it. Is we can actually grab the square and we can move this around. We can put this wherever we want. We can rotate it, and there's actually a trick for aligning it, which if you did not take the picture square, you can actually use this to rotate it to get the picture lined up so it's nice and square in CAD. But I believe this is pretty close, so we're not going to mess a whole lot with that. So I'm just going to hit enter. We're going to close that out, and now using my finger wheel on my mouse, I'm going to zoom in. All right. So now what we have to do is we have to scale this picture to the proper size. So, and that is exactly why I left the tape measure in the picture. So basically we're going to come up over here into our left. We're going to expand canvases. Now see, this is the image. This is the current canvas or picture that we're using. And we're going to right click on that. We're going to come down to calibrate. Now in calibrate, you're going to select 2 points that you know the dimension. It doesn't have to be an inch, it can be whatever. You can measure from this point to this point, click them, and insert that measurement, and that'll work the same. But taking a picture of the tape measure works very well for me. So now what we're going to do is, so we're going to pick inch number 2 and 3. So I got the crosshairs. I'm going to center that right there on the center of that mark. I'm going to left click that, so I clicked 1 point, and then I'm going to come down here to the 3 inch. So that is exact. So I know from the that tape measure, that's exactly 1 inch. So so basically the actual size of the picture that we're working with right now, that's nowhere near an inch. So we're going to click in this box, erase all that. You're going to type 1 for 1 inch, press enter. And now we got to scroll right back out because we zoomed pretty far in, and so now this picture is scaled to the proper dimensions. So now, as I was saying before, and how the plate that I want to make to go on this face right here is, like I said, it'd be a little hard to take a protractor or a sliding T-bevel or calipers or a tape measure and transfer those measurements without doing it this way. Not saying you can't do it, just a lot of times like I said, take a lot more effort. So, but this is set up in here. Now we're going to come up here, we're going to create a new sketch. We're going to click the XY plane, and then we're ready to go. And as you can see, you can just start drawing lines however you want. So, so tell you what, I'm not going to bore you with all this stuff, so I'm going to probably turn a time lapse on real quick and quit my yakking, and I'll give you a quick time lapse of me designing the part that I want to put on the face of this frame. So, alright, well, I'll see you on the other side of the time lapse. Alright, well, that was the end of the time lapse, and that's looking pretty good. This looks like it's going to work for the reinforcement plate that I'm going to put on the outside of the frame.
I'm real happy with this. So I hope you can truly see the benefit of being able to draw your design directly on the picture at scale. So it really makes it a lot easier. It really opens up the door to do a lot of cool stuff. And then now, also, I'm going to point out a few things on this. Is now first and foremost, there's actually a bend in the frame rail right there, a natural the way it was made. So what I'm going to do is after I cut this out, I'm actually going to put it in my press brake. I'm going to put a little bend on it so it'll fit. And this little piece is pressed into the frame rail at manufacture. So I don't want to cut it off. I'd rather just that's very extremely rigid as it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and just put a hole in the plate just to go around it. And besides, on the other side, actually has the VIN number for the truck in there. So I really don't want to cover that up. Also, another few, just a note. Just anytime you're putting frame repairs, welding onto a frame, and I'll tell you this, I actually learned this from a fire truck engineer because I used to work on fire trucks for a living, and I actually had a ladder truck, which the frame of the truck is also the torque box for the aerial, which handles all the load of the ladder device that mounts on top of it, along with holding the truck together. And we actually had a frame failure, and it was repaired under warranty, and they sent a couple welders up to fix it, and they had an engineered design for it, and like I said, so it was really neat. I learned a lot from them. And actually one of the big things you want to avoid is when you're welding on a frame, you don't want to do a direct vertical weld. On how I put a nice radius on there, and same with up here, and then the steering box relocation bracket that I bought, they also had a nice radius on it. That's so you avoid doing any vertical welds, because when you do a weld, you have what's called undercut, where when it penetrates the metal, it can actually make the metal a little bit thinner in that one spot. So if you do a slight vertical weld, you could easily make a point where it can actually create a crack. So do not weld vertical whenever you can help it. So anyways, so that's looking good. So now I'm going to finish that, and now I'm going to do, just for shits and excuse, might have to add that. And now, just to is a neat feature, I finished it. I hit the extrude key. Going to select that, and oops, new component. And I'm going to be cutting this plate out of 1/4 inch steel, and technically that's what it is going to look like when it's all cut out of the plasma table, and that's how it will fit. Anyway, so that really wasn't that hard, and that is a very powerful tool if you're trying to build something or do anything. I use the canvas to create design for a lot of things. So anyway, so now we got all that. Now I just got to make the G code for this, and we're going to go out to the plasma table, and we're going to cut this out and see how it fits and see if all this works. All right, so gonna finish this up, and we're going to head on out into the shop. Alright, now that we have our frame reinforcement plate is all cut out on the plasma table, I ended up putting a bend in it in my press brake, and now let's go ahead and test fit it to our frame rail and see how it looks. Well, that doesn't fit too bad. I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer so you can see. This actually fits pretty good. Is right there. That's a little tight. I'm going to probably go ahead and have somebody grind that out for me. I would like to have a 1/4 inch gap right there. Either I can grind there, or I can take a little bit off back here so I can slide it backwards. And tell you the truth, I just might do that. But there's, like I said, this section of the frame right here is kind of concave a little bit. So although I have a little gap right behind here, I'm just going to hammer it down with a clamp, and it's gonna fit nicely. So, but you guys, but all in all, that is not bad, because if you were cutting this out with a piece of cardboard and a Sharpie, or and this, that, the other, and a grinder, you would have been grinding on that thing for quite a while to get even close to this shape. So doing it this way is actually pretty easy. And as you've seen by probably watching some of my other videos, that you don't have to have your own CNC plasma table in order to do something like this, because you can always draw it up and you can send it out to an online service and they'll laser cut it out. You just have to put the bend in it, and or there might be a local shop that will cut it out on their plasma table for you. So once again, importing the picture into CAD and drawing the design on top of the picture is really easy for doing something just as such an odd shape as this is. And also some of the clearances on this are not, I mean, it's not like you're doing a machine piece or anything like that. So so like I said, this is turned out really well. I'm pretty happy with it. Well, that's going to be about it for this video. If you want to see me weld this on, you're going to have to follow the Inferno build series. I don't know when I'm welding the suspension together. That's what I'm actually going to weld that plate in. So, and I hope you're able to learn something. Which, once again, CAD is a very powerful tool, and it was once reserved for industry and just just for more than your someone's home, backyard, garage type of work. So it's now more available than it ever has been, and it's very achievable, and the skills are very learnable. So and from now on, CAD and a plasma table are a staple in my for tools in my toolbox. So, but once again, I hope you learned something, and I hope I can at least take the fear away from some of this stuff. There's nothing to be afraid of, and give you a very powerful tool to put in your toolbox. And there's more than one way to use CAD, whether a plasma table, laser cutting services, you can use it for 3D printing. You can, and that's the other thing is, I even could have drawn it out on a piece of poster board to cut out as a template. So, like I said, there's many ways you can use it, and especially with CAD. Like I said, working with the picture, when I actually drew the piece up in CAD, did all my CAD work, I wasn't even at home or in the shop. I was out and about, and so you have the freedom, so you don't tie up your valuable shop time, or at least my valuable shop time. I have so few days off, it seems like I have to struggle to get time out here, and all I do every day off, I'm out here working. So it's nice where I can take some of my design time and not take away from my shop time. So, but tell you what, I'm just gonna quit my yakking, because this is the end of the video. If you're not subscribed to my channel and you like this video, please subscribe. And once again, and if you liked it, please share it with your friends. Like I said, this is excellent knowledge that that's readily available. I'm not the only one that has put stuff out like this. There are other people, but chances are, if you're watching my video, I can relate CAD work to what you're working on if you're building a four-wheel drive. So this will open up a whole new world for you. So anyways, I'll tell you what, I will see you on the next one.